What's up, YouTube? It's PJ's Chess here, back with another video. So today, I have 3 games here. I went 3-0 on my most recent tournament. I went from 1899 to 1957. You saw the time of video. I hit my new peak again, my second time this summer, really my third time this summer. This is the highest I've ever been. 243 away from National Master and USCF. So here's the first game, 83.1% accuracy. The second game here, 81.9% accuracy. This third game, 95.2. Some cool stuff at the end. We'll talk about that. And this thing over here, this fourth tab, it's a surprise for after this first game. All right, so let's get straight into the first one. This game here, as you'll see the opening, it was an exchange, Petrov, or classical. They went e4, I go e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight takes e5, and this is my favorite Petrov to play. The reason my favorite Petrov to play because it's the easiest, honestly. If they play knight c3 or d4 or bishop c4, bishop c4 is actually a miss for white. It is still hard to play against. This is very straightforward. It's very symmetrical. They take, you go pawn here to d6, attacking the knight. They drop back, you take there on e4, d4, d5, bishop d3, bishop e7. As mentioned, I know this opening. These are all book moves because I played this quite a lot. So I feel very confident playing this position. I have the bishop here to e7. They castle. I castle as well. Let's say knight back to f6, but I castle as well. The last book move here, and we both know what we're doing at this point. I go bishop here to f4. I go pawn here to c6. Rook slides over to e1, and I drop knight back. Now, I actually went over this with my trainer or teacher, I guess you could say. And knight to f6 is probably not the best move. Now, I did this because I played over the online a lot. And I just kind of assumed I was supposed to do it again. Like, it felt like a good move. If you don't see, say you just go a5 or so. Take. This is the base of what I was thinking. I don't want to lose the pawn in the center of the board. But I did choose the wrong way to go about it. You could try bishop f5, or they're even saying bishop g5, g4 here. Bishop f5, I think, also would have worked. Oh, let's go. No. Here. Bishop here to d6, according to the computer. Bishop f5, I think, also works, if I'm not mistaken. This is an inaccuracy. So it's saying bishop d6 is just the best move. I missed that one. They go pawn here to c4. I'm going to take down c4 with my d-pawn. Bishop captures, knight bd7, knight to c3, and knight b6. Now, I played this a lot over the board. Not as much in tournaments, but against some people I play in my chess club. So I actually am very comfortable with this knight maneuver. A knight here, here. Very common playing against the queen's gambit. Now, this is obviously not the queen's gambit, but in chess, openings can transpose and position can get to a similar point out of different openings. And for those who play queen's gambit, I'm sure you've seen this before. So at this point, I'm feeling very comfortable. I feel comfortable in the Petrov, but even more comfortable. There are 2 openings and 2 positions that are both in my wheelhouse. They go bishop back here to b3. Then now I'll take a think. And I'll go pawn here to h6. Now, this is an inaccuracy. I spent a long time, or that's not a long time. This is for those, I didn't even talk about the time control. Excuse me. This is a 30+0 game. Now, I went h6 after a decent think for a game that short because I just didn't want bishop here to g5. And my thought was, whatever they do, I can still go knight here. So obviously, as I mentioned, this knight jump is something I know and I've seen. So I obviously saw that, and I just didn't see why they could stop it. So I was thinking if they go there, if I go there, they go here. I didn't like that they got their bishop here. Their rook was going there. Now, as you see when I go h6, even if they play the best computer move, now again, this was still not a good move by me. I'm not arguing with the computer. Just explain my thought process. I was like, even if I find the best move, you still have knight in, which is like no matter what I could play there, they can't really stop it. They don't have a pawn that can go guard the square. So let me do everything I want to do in preparation before that. And h6 stops bishop g5. Because in my mind, I could go there again, and they just go there. So I didn't want that. So I go h6 first, which is inaccurate, but my move and my thought process. They go bishop back to g3. We'll go bishop here to g4, looking for the pin on the knight and the queen. They slide their queen forward. I go bishop to. Oh, I also want to talk about this. This is a horrible move. Now, one of the better moves, I lose a bishop f5. Let me see. Yeah, this is what I would want to play. The best move, the knight here, I didn't really consider that much. Again, I want to do all these preparatory moves. I know that I can go there at any point, so I'm not considering it until I have no other moves I want to do before that. And I was going to go bishop f5, and because I was looking at bishop f5, I saw bishop g4. Now, the reason I went bishop g4, I saw, like, say, this is even such a horrible move. I just missed queen up, to be clear. What I saw them potentially doing, like, say they, I don't know. Like, for whatever reason, they just dropped back, which is inaccurate. And I was going to take, this is not even the best move, according to the computer. So this calculation was all wrong. Oh, yeah, I'm missing at the end. Yeah, this is just a bad thought process. Why the actual is 88% and not 90. I was thinking that I just won the pawn in the center, but, I missed so many things there. But in the game, in real time, I missed QD3 as well. So I go bishop here to d6. They go here, and I actually blunder with bishop c8. Now, Elite Chess has it about +3 for white here. I don't know which engine's stronger, but Elite Chess saw this as a much worse move than chess.com. I'm -2 at this point, and I dropped back because I don't love the position. They're attacking this, and I thought if, wow, the arrows are not drawing. They're attacking there, attacking there. And wow, that's looking bad. But I thought it was not going to go well for me. I didn't want them to do, say you go, I don't know, like knight here. That felt wrong because there's this pin. That also looks bad. It just feels like there's so many pieces that are hanging in the center, but the arrows are not drawing right now. But I went bishop back to c8, so that I'm just not under attack anymore. This is inaccurate. And if they find bishop to h4, they might win, but they don't. They go rook a to d1. Now they're still plus 1.1. I will say this is definitely not the most obvious advantage of plus 1.1. So I feel a little bit better. I go knight here to d5, knight b d5. Or during the game, I felt better. Not because I knew the evaluation, but I just knew rook over felt kind of slow was my thought. But it could have ended up working. Like, they're still winning, so that wasn't the huge mistake. As you can see on the screen, there's a blunder coming up. But knight x d5, knight f x d5. Bishop drops back to c2. You have to go f5. Now, you would love to get knight in. You can't be hasty. If you go knight in, there's checkmate and 1 here on h7. The game's just over, so you can't go for that. What I do is f5, which is an immediate move. I didn't spend very much time calculating on it, which in the end game ended up helping me out. For those who don't know, in USCF, when you're under 5 minutes, you don't have to notate. So if I spend time calculating here, I think I had like a minute and some change left when I won the game. If I spend any more time, I might blunder later on. And me just accepting I have to play this bad move, because me, I'm like a class A player. I can tell when I've messed up. Like, I will mess up, but I can also see when I messed up. So when I had this position, like, well, I definitely went wrong. I know I went wrong since bishop g4, actually. Once I went bishop g4 and qd3, I was like, oh, that was a pretty bad move. Bishop f5 just stops all of that. So this whole time I knew I was worse, just not how much worse. So I went f5 almost instantly. The best move is the only move, so you have to play only moves quickly. And they blunder with bishop to b3. Now, when they played bishop b3, for a split second, I thought, man, first tournament in like a month or so, maybe 3 weeks is more accurate, and I'm about to lose. And then I was like, wait a minute, I have f4. The reason f4 works is because the bishop here, the Dutch bishop, is trapped. They can't move it out the way, so I'm feeling very good and very confident about the position. They go bishop here to h4, attacking my queen. This is not the best move. I probably would have played this as well, though, to be honest. I can't really blame them for doing this. And the reason is, it's almost better. Well, I wouldn't say it's better. Mentally, it's better to get a rook for 2 pieces versus dropping a piece. Now, is it actually? Probably not. I mean, the computer's telling us it's not, and they would have got a pawn here as well. But they're going for this because you take the queen and it's a fork. So I do understand why they did it. I think I would have done probably the same thing, because the computer, if you're playing the other computer, like if it's 2 top engines, they're going to lose the game. But if you're playing a human, maybe I mess up, maybe I give them a piece back. It makes more sense practically. Like, I'm probably not going to lose just up a piece. But if they have something I don't have, which would be an extra rook, even though it's 2 pieces, it's more in balance to just being straight down material, if that makes sense. So I do get the thought process, although objectively it was a little worse, but it's not a huge difference, and personal preference. They go for the fork, I drop back, we exchange, and then bishop back here. Looking for this mate again, but I have knight here to f6, guarding h7. The queen can't slide down anymore. They go rook here to e2. I go bishop here to g4. A lot of time was spent calculating this move because it's so important. Well, it was to me. They have an attack that's brewing. They still have the bishop and queen. And I find bishop g4 because I saw a maneuver. Oh, also, this is probably pretty important as well. If you go queen here to b3 would be a problem, right? So if you go bishop d7, oh, this is the best move. As you can see, I did not review this game all the way yet. So you're seeing some of this live. I thought queen here was a problem, but apparently, this is what I saw during the game. Apparently, this is not good. Rook over, take. Yeah, you can't even take the pawn because of there. All right, so yeah, I did not see the sacrifice. I did not see this. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. I cannot be too mad. This is a pretty cool line. As you can see, black is just dominating with the sacrificed rook. And you're not supposed to take it exactly. Yeah. I'm sure you can understand how to not find this with a 30-minute game. Even if I had an hour, I would not have found that line. But the idea that you can see, as you saw, the main point is if you'll just lose the pawn, right? So that's why I didn't go bishop d7, although bishop d7 made more sense to me because I wanted to go rook to e8. It is the main point with this. But I ended up going bishop g4, so you can see I would reroute my bishop to f7. Then I could push like b6, or I could do anything where queen there doesn't win material. So they attack my bishop, go bishop to h5, pawn up here to a3, rook slides over to e8, rook doubles up on the e-file, exchange, and bishop f7. This is the plan that I was going with. They go queen here to f5, queen slides over to d8, bishop slides, pawn 4 attacking the queen, queen drops back, king up, g3, fx g3, and this is the last notation. Again, as mentioned in USCF, under 5 minutes, you don't have to notate what's happening. But I do want to show this because I remember this position. This is where the game essentially ended. It was my turn here, and I found knight to c3. This is a brilliant according to chess.com. I know you can't see that right now, really. But it says it is brilliant. The reason this works is you're going for a fork here, right? And then they're also, so they actually end up taking it, and I get the pin, and they just do this, and this is this, and I go on to win. This is not the exact position. The point was the knight c3 and the pin. I don't remember how the pawns were exactly. But if they don't take, right, they just move the queen, you just take the rook. And this is also just, you know, an extra bishop and a queen and bishop. This is just over. And this pawn's hanging here on d4. So they were able to get that win there. That was a fun first game and decently accurate from both of them. The second game here, my accuracy does drop. So does theirs. It was pretty complex, as you'll see what ends up happening in the game. But it starts off with d4, d5, bishop f4, knight to f6, e3, pawn to c5, pawn to c3, knight to c6, knight to f3, and bishop d3. I wanted to kind of speed through. That was kind of boring. This is just book moves. This is a London system playing with the c5 variation. They go queen b6. This is the first move. We're going to have to do some thinking. And I go qc1. Now, queen c2 is better. I will say I kind of prefer queen c1 now. I've been playing queen c2 a lot. I played the London thousands of times. I played this a lot. When you go qc2, I don't know. Maybe I just don't play it correctly. It feels worse in the long term. So I started going here. And they go bishop. Well, I was also told to go here. But once they told me to try this, I'm like, yeah, I like the thought process. But yeah, bishop d7, knight bd2, rook slides over to c8, and I go qb1. Now, Hikaru actually played a similar line. I was looking at one of his games, and he does the exact same thing. Now, I don't know if he plays in London all the time or if he does that every London system, but he did this in one London game. And I was like, okay, let's take something from Hikaru. He goes bishop, or they go bishop. Yeah, they are. This is he. Bishop to e7, pawn here to h3, pawn to a5, pawn to a4, h5. And if you can see here, I played the opening amazingly. These first 11 moves, I'm plus 1.1 with equal material, and I throw it away here with pawn to h4. Now, in my defense, not even my defense, my explanation is when I'm playing chess, generally when they go h5 or h4, I like to match it. And this move, I realized this before the game ended. I was also told by my teacher at the end that this was a horrible move. I thought it was after knight g4. Like, I immediately realized, like, oh, even though this is a general rule in chess that you want to block and stop h, so you want to stop this. So say I go like here. I would never do this, but for example, that's what I was saying. I want to stop h5, h4, and they have control on my side of the board. But my position was so good that I didn't even have to worry about that, and I did. And I go knight h2. 2 straight moves that go from plus 1.1 to 0.7. That's a 1.8 swing. That's horrible. They go e5 though. I take a pawn in the center. They take back. I go bishop e2. Now this is a horrendous move. For those who don't see the idea though, say you do like, I guess here. This is the best move. Wow. I'm like 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 talking about this today. I was thinking this. Oh, I guess you can go over. But I saw this though, because this is hanging, but they can go here, right? Oh, the center pawn's hanging. Yeah, I did not see that. And then they take on b7. And then if you check, the rook could slide down. Wow, okay. These are some very complex lines that I missed. I wish I could find them. Maybe that's why I'm not mastered quite yet, but that's pretty ridiculous. But they go pawn here, g6. I went knight h to f3, getting back there. So that's why I moved the bishop out the way, so they couldn't take it and win the pawn. And they also, I was kind of okay with giving this up. Well, okay, like I'd accepted it. And they didn't take it. I did not understand. Like, I saw that I could go knight there, but I thought here, knight here. Like, can I even, I can't even win it back, can I? Yeah, I can't. I was hoping that I'd be able to do okay because of activity, but I don't have to even play from behind for 1 second in the game. They go bishop here to f5, and it goes from them being plus 0.7 back to me being plus 1.1. So we both messed up in the middle game, and I mess up again. And I take the knight in the center. e4. Like this, these moves that are supposed to be found just are not that easy. Is it? So it's e4, right? It's knight captures, is pawn captures. Wow, okay. And then it's bishop back, and then what do? And I take in the center. And I'm supposed to give myself double pawns in this endgame. Like, you can see how I didn't find some of this stuff. As I mentioned, it's complex with our accuracies are low. You can see how, like, some of the stuff the computer's saying we missed, I think is very difficult. And the U bar shoots in their favor, being plus 2.3 right here. This is a blunder, essentially. They go bishop here to f6, though. And we talked after the game, and I told them that I thought knight d3 worked. And they were saying they thought after knight, let me see if I remember. They saw knight d3, take. I think they said they didn't like 95? I think, was it? Yeah, I think I said they didn't like 95 from me. But I was like, man, I'm just kind of losing. I was hoping they didn't go for this, and they didn't end the game. But because they go bishop here to f6, I get a chance, and I don't give it away. I take there on e5. They take with the bishop. I go knight here to f3. Now, e4 is better. I'm sure it's a similar line to what we saw earlier. Again, I'm just not that good yet. I can't lie to you. If you're here along for the journey, we are not that level of chess expert yet. We go knight to f3 instead. A lot of calculations what I took here because of, well, you'll see. I get double pawns. Now, I didn't want to do this, but anything else just did not make any sense to me. Honestly, it just made more sense to give my queen a square, get my knight towards the center, stop their knight from jumping in without getting exchanged. And I went for this. Also, I'm guarding d4 a little bit more. But there, take, and now d4. As you can see, the knight is at least touching it. Like, you can't win it, but I feel a lot better like this. I go bishop here to b5. An excellent move by me, I'll say. It's not very obvious why this is good. I'm pretty sure the reason it's so good, the reason I played it at least, I'll speak to that more as why it's good to the computer. I want to go here, one, to cut the queen off from attacking b2. It seems kind of pointless, but my queen is being dominated in this game. This bishop is here on this diagonal. Wow, the arrows are not drawn. There we go. And the queen is on this file. The queen is just overtaxed. It's cutting off one away from the poke in. Also, it stops their knight from getting in on the attack. And lastly, once I castle, my rook can slide over to e1. They castle, I castle, which is a great move apparently. And they go queen to d8. Now, I have a complete just miscalculation. For some reason, I thought that my h4 pawn was hanging, and I go g3. Now, I also could see myself playing g3 anyways as a prepping move, because say you go queen d2, I'm sure my response in my head would have been like, what if they go here and they're trying to win this pawn? Oh, you can just block. And if you, so if you go there and they go up there, you can't fork. I don't say you go there, but you drop back. So I missed this as well. A couple misses in what was one of my better tournaments, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, I go g3. They go pawn here to f6, which is a miss here. I go queen to d2. Another miss. Back-to-back misses by both of us. Queen d1 was better. I'm sure you can imagine why I don't play queen d1. I mean, who is playing? I don't know who's playing this. qd1. Bishop's coming in. Queen's coming in. Maybe a grandmaster, but maybe an IM too. But I just am not someone who would find that yet. f6, qd2 as mentioned. Bishop here to e4. And knight to h2. Again, I say, I can't even be mad at myself. Like, this is hanging. And apparently this is still winning after queen's going forward. But I can't fault myself for missing a move like this. This is not very obvious to me. I'm going to have to give up my knight to go for, I'm assuming a draw. Because if they go here, are you saying you can just repetition? Oh, this is a win. Oh, wow. If you were they accept it. How is this a win? Queen here. Over. Okay, I'm not sure how this is +5 because they're not showing how this is a win. They're just going king back and forth. Yeah, this is just a draw. So I was able to sacrifice my knight to go for a draw in this game, and I did not do that. I go rook here to e1. After moving my knight back, they go bishop to f5. Rook slides over a to d1. Knight jumps in. Bishop drops back. And at this point, I'm feeling extremely confident. I knew I was fending them off for a while. You can see I have a lot of best moves coming up. I do, that's my accuracy is not that low. But I do feel extremely confident and extremely good at this point because everything has come together. My rooks are in the center. We're stopping this advanced pawn. And it's been there for maybe, 10, 11 moves. They exchange on c3. I take back with the queen. Although, I had another intermezzo. Bishop to c4. Just a lot of complex things in this game. But I just take the pawn immediately. They take the bishop. I take with the rook. Taking with the queen didn't make sense to me. I thought just attacking the queen, playing with the initiative. I believe who was up on time. I think I was up on time too, so I didn't want to give them an easier position to play. Yeah, they were I was definitely up. If I remember. Yeah, it's been a while to find. I think it was this. Was it what move? Some move that spent. I can't remember anymore. But some move that did spend a while, and I got up on time, and they stopped notating first. After knight jumps into d4, knight here to f3, finally gets off the edges of the board, and we go here to attack in the center. They capture. You can't take the queen because of the check there on g2, or on g1, and I take with the rook. They actually end up just blundering in the next move or two. qd7, queen back here. Actually, I'm plus 2.1. We said it was a draw when we were talking after the game if they don't blunder. Looks like we were incorrect with that. I'm still winning. They go pawn here, though, and the game just pretty much ends. The reason, my first reason of going queen back just happened to be, it was more attacking. Like, it just happened to defend there on a4. When rook to d3 was better. But if you just, again, in this game, you're supposed to just drop a piece. Like, so many things that are misses. I was not going to find that. Like, it just was not going to happen. Yeah, qc2, b6. They're trying to guard this pawn here on a5. You see the eval bar shoots up. And I don't miss my chance this time. QX G6, queen over. You don't queen trade. Now, is it a winning endgame? Maybe. Actually, you can just check that. I don't even have to speculate. I think this is still winning for white. But it should, yeah, it's still plus 2.7. It's just way less winning. But you take here on h5, winning another pawn. And the king's pretty weak, as you can see. The light squares are covered, and this h file is covered. So the king is kind of weak. The rook's going to slide over. I go rook f to e3. They go rook to d2, and now there is nothing they can do. Rook here to e7, rook down, and now they pretty much resign here, like, because we're pretty cool. So he, like, lifted up the f pawn, was like, you know, checkmate, you know, just doing something fun. But I was able to get that win there in game 2. And this, I'm going into 2-0, going to the last game. Now, it says 95.293.7. We played excellent, 2,500 apiece. This was my worst game I played on that day because I did not record the rest of it. I was winning at the point of the recording ending. I ended up losing, and I win on time because I can move pretty quickly. Those are in my streams. You might be surprised that happened, that I was up on time. If you're not in the stream, I'm down on time constantly in there. But over the board, I can move decently quick, and I was up and won on time. But let's go to the part of the game that I have notated. d4, bishop f4. I got white back to back after like basically a coin toss. The arbiter, he put a pawn in each hand, and you pick. For those who've been playing chess for a while, you've seen that before. But when knight f6, pawn here to e3, pawn to e6, knight to f3, and knight b to d7. I go pawn to h3 to try and guard this g4 square. I go pawn to a6, and I go a4 immediately, stopping a b5 pawn push. Now, is b5 going to be game winning? Probably not, but it's annoying to play against, and I wanted to avoid going to that end game, or that game where they have that. So I went a4 very quick. They go bishop here to e7. I go bishop to d3. They go pawn to c5, pawn to c3, queen to b6, and queen here to c1. Again, this queen c1 idea. Maybe queen c2 here makes a little more sense, and I can't really argue against it as much as the last time as a preference, because if, in this game at least, there's no immediate rook c8, and the knight doesn't have a good square to give the bishop a square to give a rook a square. Now, there's a lot of conditionals that have to be met in order for something. So yeah, queen c2 definitely makes more sense here, but in the theme of trying to be consistent, I went queen c1 and didn't really calculate it too much. But looking at it now, I see. They go bishop b6, I go pawn to a5, and intermezzo, and this is a similar idea to the last game. I love when I talk about something that I can show it. That's what I was trying to avoid when they were over here. That was my goal with that, to try and stop the h4, because this is not fun to play against. Like, it's just not your opponent having the pawn this far advanced. They go queen back here to c7. I take the bishop, and the bishop is now, you don't want to let them take it, so you take it, and then knight b to d2. They castle, I castle. They go e5. I exchange in the center. You kind of have to take. I mean, this is, for those who don't see it, let's see. There's so many bad moves here. It's kind of hard to explain, to show how you would even miss this, because you can't. I was going to go knight there, but this is the same thing. But say you go rook e1. They just have e4. That's a fork here in the center, so you'll be losing the game, which is why you have to take it. This is why I took it. Take with the knight. You take with the knight. Again, like, you don't have to take back. I guess you could go bishop e2. I guess, but that just feels kind of passive. So you wouldn't take there and then go knight here to f3. Now, b4 is apparently better. This is one of those things like chess psychology. I don't know if I ever posted this game, but there's a game I played where it was I wouldn't say it was a similar setup, but it was a similar part in this game where I had a pawn on b4 and a5, but I was just too advanced and it was too weak and I ended up losing. But yeah. So I don't go for it here. Don't even calculate. I go knight f3 attacking their queen. They drop back. Queen c2, bishop here to d7, and rook c1. Some of this, again, is like chess psychology. I just won a game with a similar tactic on this day before I started because I warm up before tournaments. And I was playing some 5-0, and I pretty much won the exact same way that I was going to win this game had I not blundered. They go knight here to c4, and this is the exact same move they played. And I've just found it's playing in London a lot. People go knight e4 a lot without thinking very much. I think part of it is in this position, the plans aren't very obvious, and it looks good to get advanced. So I was kind of predicting they make this mistake because, you know, I played this a lot. People tend to do this a lot. Like, even if I'm a little higher rated than this person, although he did outplay me in the end game, so maybe we should be similarly rated. But online, even people who are like 2,000, 2,100, 2,200, I've seen make this mistake, so I went for it. Although it's not the best chess plan, c4 is better immediately because c4 is just a good move. But I was like, maybe I can get them to mess up. And if they went c4 themselves here, so you could see, I would have went bishop f5. Now apparently the best one was bishop e2, but I went bishop to f5 after had that been played. So I was prepared if my trap didn't work. But the trap does work, and c4 is the move that wins material. For those who don't see it, well, it's actually going to happen on the board. They go bishop here to c6, which is the best move. Now you can't drop back because take, and then you just take in the corner, which is why they can't do it that way. And they go, this is why this is better. You have to take the pawn first. If you take the knight first, this does not work because of dx e4, I believe. Yeah, now there's nothing hanging. But when you take the pawn, you take the knight, then you take here on c5. So the rook wasn't here on c1. You wouldn't be able to take it because the queen is guarding it still. They slide over, and then I force the queen trade with queen here to e5. This is a forced queen trade. Well, I guess in a turn. Oh, yeah, this is forced because they can't go there. Because you could go, oh, yeah, you could go here. This is what I saw. Here, yeah, the queen trade is forced however you look at it. And I make a mistake. Now, what I'll say is I thought this was it is still winning. I probably shouldn't have done this, though. I was looking at knight here. I was like, well, this is kind of weak. You know, like they could just go down. It felt like this would be bad long term. It was the best move, so I got to trust my instincts a little bit more. I think the main problem with this, now, again, I'm still winning according to the valuation bar, but I'm not playing with that. If you go into an endgame, you're not up a pawn. Like, I am up a pawn, and my thought process is eventually I have to run these king-side pawns down. It can just trade off, and now I'm up a pawn. But for all purposes of right now, we have the same amount. So I just gave up my advantage for no reason, essentially, which is why that was a mistake, in my mind at least. But I go b4 to guard it. When I should have counterattacked, I almost counterattacked too. Like, it's a few moves this game. Like, I'm glad I won, but it's one of those wins you don't feel very good about because I didn't play particularly well. I know it says 95, but like after the notation stops, I just got outclassed. They go rook here to b5, rook here to c4, rook slides over, rook f to b1, trying to hold on to my advantage, pawn to g6, rook here offering a trade, they accept, and now I'm slightly better. Rook c1, the best move, and king to g2. Now this is the last notated move I have, unfortunately, because we both were getting lower on time. To get a general idea of what happened, imagine the king got here to c6 somehow. Like, it just runs over. And I have my rook here. I give a check. They take both pawns. I go over and take these pawns. And they beat me in the pawn race. And then I end up stopping it. And I have these two and this pawn remaining with my king. And they have the king and rook. And they just have too little time left to actually win the game. Although, because they're not connected, if they're connected, I think I'm actually winning. But they were not connected. So they were winning as the king had to guard them all individually. Yeah. That's how I won those games. That's how I hit my peak USCF. We're at 1957, start the summer at 1864. So we've gone up almost 100 points. And this year, we've gone up like 130. We start the year at 1824, I believe, or 22. Yeah, I think 1822. So great tourney. We're going to have a couple more this summer before I go back for school. Make sure to follow along. Make sure to subscribe to not miss any vids. I post a lot of shorts. I do a lot of lives. And I will get better at posting long form as well. If you made it this far, thank you. I've been talking for like half an hour. Very much appreciate it. I hope you could enjoy it and have a great day. Deuces.